Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of the UK Connection. And as always, my colleagues in arms here on next to me, underneath me in the Zoom, Mr. Simon Bray from Lancashire and Mr. Steven Reid from Perth, Scotland. What's up, guys?
Well, I was wondering, I'm sure we can't, if there was a way of configuring this call that we're doing here, where there was actually two of the boxes at the bottom and one at the top, because then we could have made the Scorpion's human pyramid.
We could have. I don't know if there's any way to do that. Um, so I'm sitting here looking on the Zoom instructions. Yeah, exactly. And so there's speaker view, which means only the person talking is on camera. We don't want that. Gallery, and then there's immersive. What could immersive be?
Oh,
Should I try it just to see what happens? Immersive view. What this view will gather everyone in the same scene. What?
what?
Participants using older versions will view others with a dark background. I don't know if I want to do that. That sounds scary. I will do research on that because I don't want to just do it.
Yeah,
And we
it
get
sounds painful, I think. Let's not
yeah.
do that.
I don't think we need that. But yeah, it would be nice if we could like move the squares around, and the limitations of Zoom. The
Yes.
good thing is we can talk for hours on here now, right? Because I have to pay for it.
Absolutely.
Anyway, today we're going to be doing favorite, least favorite, and wild card albums for the Scorpions. And I know for everybody watching who's been following me all week, I did appear on Guitar Hack a couple days ago, where Martin Popoff, Guitar Hack, and myself did our top 5 Scorpions albums. So part of my two favorites are going to be pretty predictable. All right. However, you don't know my least favorites and you don't know my wild card. So that's kind of cool, right? But before we get to all that, it's a matter of beverages. We start the show off all the time. So Simon, what you drinking today?
Well, I'm not drinking what I thought I was going to drink. I've had this plan, like everything else in my life at the moment. I've had a plan, and that plan's gone completely tits up. I've no idea what I wanted to drink is. I was right. I was right pleased with myself. I'm clearly going to have to be pleased with myself next week. So I've had to go back. Yeah, thanks, Stephen. It's not there. I've had to go back into being a performing seal mode. Somebody asked, "Can you drink some man's brown ale?" Yes. Yes, I can. Where is it? I've got a new camera as well. New camera's up here, so you have to go, whoa, look
There
at
you
that.
go. All
Woo,
right.
look at that. Yeah, just a massive 2.8%.
Man's Brownhill.
It's not very manly, 2.8%.
It's again, it's very much from the past. Talking about the past, obviously, it's in the goblet. Wasn't going to use the goblets, but I can't find what I actually was going to drink. I'm really disappointed.
Maybe what you really
How can you
wanted
be disappointed?
rolled under the stairs that you were sitting under last week.
Oh, fuck off.
But anyway, I have questions about this 2.8% man's beer. So is that like you mentioned it's an old style beer. So is that one of those beers that you can drink like 15 of in like a couple hours and,
Yeah,
go
it's
back?
it's one of those beers that used to be brewed somewhere specific. For instance, Whitechapel in London, and now it's probably brewed like everything else in Burton or something like that. So I've only just noticed that it's out of date as well. So yay, go me! Isn't life great?
Going well then.
I will say, full disclosure here, we are taping this a little bit later than we normally do. So I'm sure that that hasn't pleased Simon too much. So Simon,
No, electricity's just reached Lancashire. That's what it is. Quite literally in my case.
Stephen, how about you?
Oh, well, I have a Jarl. That's what I have.
Fine
Okay.
ales.
Well, from Loch Fine
Oh,
is what it is. Hence that. I've had a few of theirs before. Some have been really good. Some have not been so fantastic. Not been bad, but just not my favourites. This is a citrus session blonde. There we go. That's what we've got. And oh, clank on the glass table there. Looks like that. That's what it looks like.
nice. Very cool.
Smells good. Mm. Yeah, I approve of that. That's really, oh, it's really citrusy. It's got a really citrusy kick at the end. That's lovely. Very nice.
Nice. Well, I think both of you, especially my good friend from Lancashire, will like this. Look at that. Shark Fin, Zero Gravity Brewery out of, I believe that's a Vermont brewer, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure. Yes, Burlington, Vermont. And this is called Jaws Czech style Pilsner.
Now, at first glance, I thought that was a yacht and not a Jaws, not a shark. And I thought should have had that on the Toto show. But maybe not.
It's a big fin.
It's a big fin, yes. And there's even woo, did you guys get that on camera?
Yeah.
Nice little fizz that went up for that. A crisp Pilsner beer featuring Czech ingredients, smooth and snappy on the palate, big and bitey on the finish. That's kind of clever, I think.
Yes, I like it. I like the pun.
Yeah. And I think, Steven, I think mine is going to be even lighter color than yours. Let's see. Oh, that's a nice pour, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the same. I think yours is slightly a bit darker, but
yeah.
You know, not surprising because a Czech style Pilsner is pretty light. Well, cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers. He says already drinking his.
Yeah.
Quite good. Ooh, a little lemony finish. Sort of.
Similar to this, and this has got a very lemony finish.
All right. Now to the task at hand. So we have each picked out our 2 favorite Scorpions albums and our 2 least favorite Scorpions albums and a wild card. So, of course, the wild card is something that sits kind of in between. Could be an album that's pretty good, not great, not terrible, or a cool live album or a compilation or something, whatever. It ain't one of the best ones. It ain't one of the worst ones. So that the wild card we leave up to whatever we want to pick. And I will have Simon kick us off with his 2 favorites.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very, very much indeed. Yes. Do you know what? I haven't got around to watching The Hack this week because do you know why? No electricity. I'll do that as soon as is humanly possible. So, I'm just going to guess you're going to go to the 70s. Well, I'm going to stick very firmly in the 80s. My 2 favorites are Blackout. Oh, I don't know where this Blackout. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, just realised it's Terry Butcher. No. So again, no. Okay. So anyway, moving along. What a top class, really. Dodgy bandages.
Yes.
Okay. What a really top class, super confidence piece of Teutonic hard rock. This really, really is. Yes. Just so many good things about this. The title track is awesome. What a great way to start. I'm sure we can all agree. I like and appreciate 70s Scorpions, but I love much of the 80s. We'll mention the 90s later.
Yes, we will.
Just what a great record. No One Like You, hey, winner. China White, winner. Big ballad of When the Smoke Is Going Down. I wonder if they could go along maybe later in their career and do some ballad-related fun.
I think they might.
I wonder if they could maybe ultimately release several hundred compilations, one of which is just of ballads. I feel like they probably could. Hey, any album that has Dynamite on is a real winner. Just really, 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 really good hard rocking 80s shit, as indeed is Animal Magnetism. One of the few covers from around that period we could actually kind of show.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
There are some bad covers
in
this catalogue. Some which some people think are classics, but wow, there are some bad covers in this catalogue.
And what's really bad is that the original covers are really bad, and then the covers that they put out because they couldn't release the original covers in certain markets, those are even worse. But they're bad in a different way.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some are bad, some are shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, and I know I've said this before, you really can't play a cover, can you? So, so many great tunes on this one. Make it real.
Make it real.
Don't make no promises. No promises. Your body can't keep. Lady Starlight. Oh. Stephen, you've died. Sorry, never mind.
I'm gone to heaven.
What the people from Yorkshire call the Zoe. The Zoe was just these two albums that when I listen to one, I almost always go and listen to the other straight after. You know, because they just dovetail so well. It's just a period that I really I like everything about these two records. And I like the solos, which I'm guessing Matthias Jabs plays. I like the rhythm. Some people don't like Klaus Meiner's vocals because they're accented dickheads. Yes, I like. Was it Blackout where he was losing his voice? And,
yeah, he had some kind of an operation or something like that, and they brought Don Dokken in to do whatever and
post vocals and demos and things.
Yeah,
he ended up doing backing vocals on it,
and yet, what, 40 years later, still going?
Yeah, his voice has held up quite well.
And can't quite say the same for Mr. Dokken, unfortunately.
Exactly. Exactly. So, did I mention Arizona? Yeah, some really great material in that period, and it's I don't know if it's actually my favorite period because I've got a lot to say about the other stuff, but those two albums. Got one, and then I'll go straight for the other. There's the best part of an hour and a bit that your day's feeling good.
Yes, indeed.
I do have a question for you, Simon. Were those the first two albums you heard by them?
They were not. I can tell you what I can tell you what the first song was. And you know what? If my house wasn't falling to bits, my evil plan was to go up and get my 7-inch home metronome. A copy of Big City Nights, which was, I think, my introduction. But it was my introduction to the band, and then from there on, I thought, what can I buy down in Accrington Market? And I firstly got them on vinyl, but there's no chance of me reaching that. And then, like with everything else that I've bought in my career as a human being, I then upgraded to CD, and now I've got hundreds of copies of everything, none of which I can currently get hold of. It's not funny.
That's okay. That's all right. Cool. Well, two good choices. I mean, that's the coming out party of Matthias Jabs. I mean, it's those two albums, and then Love at First Sting. Man, he became the man. Can't go wrong with those albums. Steven, what do you got for your favorite two?
Well, I'm a great believer in not cheating while we're doing this. I mean, not that any of us would, and not that I would need to, castigate anybody for not quite following the rules. I'm not following the rules later, okay? But I will follow the rules now, but I will cheat first by going, the correct answer to the question, what are my two favourite Scorpions albums? That's the correct answer.
Yep.
Okay, and that's probably the problem here, is that that's the correct answer. And no matter which way I can stack this, well, that's the correct answer. These are just fantastic. These are just Tokyo Tape, for anyone that doesn't know, or Wide Live, for anyone that doesn't know. The two live double albums, both are nigh on perfect. Okay, but to follow on from your question, Peter, this is where I came in. This is the album that we listened to over and over and over. And in a Kiss style, they featured nothing that was on this.
Right.
On this. This features songs from 4 albums. Love Drive, Animal Magnetism, Love at First Sting, and Blackout, not in that order. Okay. So therefore, this was what I thought the Scorpions were. And this is what I went back to discover. Okay. So you won't be too surprised to find that then informs what comes next, okay? Because I'll put them that way around for obvious reasons, okay? So I can show them like this. Okay, this is a tie. This is my, if we're going number 1, number 2. These are both my number 2, but that again is cheating, okay? So I will go, but Animal Magnetism was my first choice. Because it's got the zoo on it. Realistically, that is pretty much enough for me. It's just it's just so powerful. Absolutely love that riff. It is one of my favorite riffs of all time. It's just so good. So this is the band's 7th album, 1980. I suppose they're on their second peak at this point, realistically. But this is where they really start to become, I think, a bit more worldwide, pardon the pun, on the live album. This is where it really kind of, they go over the top as such. And I suppose they do go over the top because it does become a little bit more simple. But that was very much of its time, I would suggest. But I also would suggest that musically, these albums are much better than they're given credit for now. I think the Scorpions are very much derided as maybe unfair. They haven't helped themselves, and we'll come to that. But at this stage, what a band they are, you know? And as Simon has mentioned, they like a ballad or two, or 42, and we'll come to that later too. But Lady Starlight, what a song. What a song. And the vocals are amazing on that. How anyone could have a problem with Klaus's vocals. I like the accent. I think the accent just makes them completely unmissable. You know exactly who it is as soon as he starts singing, but he can hold a note, he can add a bit of aggression. There's always emotion there. Dieter Dierks, who produced everything in this era and earlier.
Who was that, Stephen?
Dieter, is that right? Dierks? That do? I have no idea if that's correct or not.
No, it's just that Scottish accent. Just
okay, there you go.
turning me on.
So he was asked about Klaus Meiner's vocals, and he went, as soon as you hear the first note, you know who it is. And I just can't argue with that. And I really do adore his vocals. And I say this about quite a few singers, and quite a few that we've spoken about. But why he's not held up in that class of, so who's your favourite singer? Who's the best singer there's ever been? Is he the best? Yeah, that's complete conjecture. But he deserves to be in that discussion, right from the early days, right through to later on, where arguably he carries some albums and songs because he still sounds like he believes, when nobody else really did. But not always. Nearly always. So my second choice, because really, I'm a simple chap, right? I can't lie. I like a big chant-along hit, lots of hooks, and I don't think that there's much that comes bigger and chantier than Rock You Like a Hurricane, or Bad Boys Running Wild, or Coming Home, or Big City Nights. And if I want to get my lighter out and wave it around, I Will Be Still Loving You, because Love at First Sting is my second choice. It's actually my first choice. This is my number one studio album, but both of these choices are informed by the live album. They're informed by Worldwide Live, because this is where I came in. And I probably still, to this day, prefer nearly all of the live versions to all of the studio versions. Scorpions are and were a great studio band, but the live albums and the live performances that I've seen, only 3, have all been absolutely outstanding. And I will admit there's a formula already at this stage. I think these 4 albums really are quite interchangeable in terms of you could lift songs from Blackout and put them on here, from Love Drive and put them on Animal Magnetism, and you would lose no flow. You wouldn't kind of go, oh, okay, that doesn't belong. This one's a bit bluesy, or that one's a bit. There's none of that going on. They know exactly what they're meant to be doing, and they do it really well. And the lineup of Mina, Schenker, Rudolph, Matthias Jabs, Francis Buchholz, and Herman Rearbell, that to me is Scorpions, and will always be Scorpions. But I do understand why a lot of people, and quite rightly, because I'm not going to argue against any era of the band, with an obvious exception, will choose something else. If other people choose something else in the comments and say, no, it's definitely this era, I'm good with that too. But this is my Scorpions. So that's my 2 choices.
Ironically, I started listening to the Scorpions during that era. So Blackout was my first Scorpions album. First song I ever heard was No One Like You on the radio. And then I bought the album, and then I saw them opening up for Rainbow at Madison Square Garden, and they were still to this day one of the greatest opening performances I've ever seen. I was huge into Love at First Sting when it came out, and then I remember like was it Crazy World and Face the Heat. And I'm like, God, I'm not really liking these much. The live album was great. But I remember quickly thinking, and I continue to go see them live because they were always great live. But I was like, God, these studio albums are starting to suck. And then I just kind of stopped listening to them after a while. But I have found like all these years later that I my old love affair with Love at First Sting has also subsided a bit, as Blackout too. For whatever reason, I think, but because I just really fell in love with the Uli Roth era, like in a big way. And to me, when I want to listen to the Scorpions these days, and these days have gone back like 20 years, those are the albums I reach for. I just find that to me, again, this is just me, I still enjoy the 80s Scorpion stuff, but to me, they kind of lost a little bit of their identity. I think they incorporated a lot of like, they wanted to be big in America, obviously. So they kind of incorporated a lot of styles and things from other bands, North American bands that I think were very, very popular. And to me, they lost a little bit of what made them so unique. Doesn't mean they're not still weren't great or not enjoyable. But I find that I go back to the 70s albums a lot more. So my number 2 is going to be Taken by Force. I mean, Uli is one of my favorite guitar players of all time. And I really, I love what he brought to the table here. Unique player in the 70s, combined like that Hendrix style with like this neoclassical thing. Gave the Scorpions a really unique, there's that much better cover, I think, than this bland piece of shit. But, yeah.
It's still a very odd shootout, though.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Yeah. All their album covers are really weird. Yeah. But, whatever you call this music, it's not really heavy metal. It's heavy. It's psychedelic. It's bluesy. It's funky. It's like, it's just Scorpions. 70 Scorpions is so unique, but man, it's got some burners on here. It's got, first of all, it's got the Sails of Charon, which is one of the great Scorpions albums of this era. Steam Rock Fever is great. He's a Woman, She's a Man. It's got the more kind of mysterious songs like Born to Touch Your Feelings and Ride of Your Time and Your Light, and We'll Burn the Sky is classic. It's interesting how they let Uli sing like at least 2 songs per album, and his vocals are terrible, but I don't really mind them, even though you can't understand a word he's saying. It's just like, it's just like, what are you saying? Who cares? The guitar playing is amazing, and it's just, but would those have been better with Klaus singing? I think so, but I think they wanted to give. I think Uli had just a very strong presence in this band, but but just very different. And it's amazing when you listen to this album and my next choice, and then you listen to the handful that came after it, and really everything that came after. It's like a completely different band. And I know people prefer one over the other, and this is like one of those weird instances where I came in years later now is not my favorite anymore, because that a lot of times the first album you got kind of stays with you. It didn't really happen that way with the Scorpions. And my number 1, again, could be either any of these first 4, but I don't even know if I want to do this, but hold on a second. I will show it very quickly. My number 1 is that Virgin Killer. Yeah, that's the kind of shitty album cover, but a lot more easy to deal with than what I briefly just showed with the, naked child, right? Obviously, but that's the version that I had when I bought this album. That one right there. I mean, I absolutely love Virgin Killer. Some of my favorite songs are on here, and I'll go back to what Steven was saying before. The definitive versions of a lot of these songs are on the live album on Tokyo Tapes. Tokyo Tapes is, other than the little old rock and roll medley that's on there, get rid of that. The rest of it is just absolutely amazing. Pictured Life is a fantastic song. Catch Your Train is great. I love In Your Park. Backstage Queen. The title track Virgin Killer is just absolutely nuts. The guitar playing off the charts. I love Hellcat, another one of my favorite Uli songs. And then you got Crying Days. Polar Nights is, for me, Uli's definitive statement in this band, alongside the title track To Fly to the Rainbow. And then Yellow Raven is just absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. So for me, Virgin Killer, and even In Trance is my number 3. I listen to these 2 albums all the time, and Taken by Force. I just love them. I love them. And as much as I still do like Blackout and Love Drive and Animal Magnetism, I go to these early ones way more. So those are my top 2. Back to Simon for the not so good.
Okay, the not so good.
Yeah.
Yes, Stephen, you're leaning forward. Now, it's quite easy with the Scorpions. In fact, it's a bit like shooting fish in a barrel to go, fucking hell, Eye to Eye is a massive pile of wank. And it is. So I'm not going to go there. Nope. I'm not even going to go for Pure Instinct either, which is equally a massive pile of wank. No, I just want to talk about, because this is Simon time, I want to talk about Come Black. You see what they did there? Come Black. No.
Black,
Okay.
please come.
Now, it's one of those kind of, let's re-record our shit just in case somebody wants to put it on a film album, I think, in many ways. So, you've got updated versions of what I like to call The Zoo, Rock You Like a Hurricane, Blackout, Wind of Change, Whistle With Me, everybody. And it's not like they're doing anything different when, they haven't pulled out the ukuleles and turned into George Formby or anything like that. But what they've also done, you like that one, Stephen? What they've also
windows
is they have massacred the shit out of some other songs. For instance, whoever thought, in the Scorpions camp, I know, hey lads, yes, Klaus, yes, Rudolph, yes, Pavel, or whoever's drumming this week. Should we do a version of Tainted Love? No, let's not. Let's really, really not do that. Nope, no need. No need whatsoever. And I know I pull this shit every time, but all day and all the night?
Oh, God.
No. The re-recorded versions of their own songs are perfectly adequate.
Yeah, they're adequate.
Adequate. Yeah. Not as good.
Not needed.
Not as good as the versions that we all know and love. But shall we metal up Children of the Revolution? No. But we're going to anyhow. And herein lies the thing when you are basically us. Went and bought this shit. I'm sure you did as well. And tragically, it's one of the ones I could actually lean over the shit up in the man cave and pull out. No, just I listened to this just about 3 or 4 hours ago, and I was driving along thinking, why am I doing this? Why? I can't reach over to my phone and turn it off because I might get done by the feds or something like that. Just the Tainted Love is amongst the worst things of all time. I'm just saying. So yeah, that would be Simon's stinker for this episode. You see what I did there? I came up with an alliterative kind of.
You did. And is there a second Simon's stinker?
Just the 1990s.
Whole fucking decade.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, Stevie, you're talking about cheating. There you go. That's
just the entire fucking decade, as my friend from Poughkeepsie so correctly says. I can live with Crazy World, to be honest, but the rest of it, Crazy World's only got the 2 huge hit ballads on, hasn't it? So I can live with that one. But beyond that, it's just a barren decade of shite.
I like Crazy World. There you go.
Yeah. I think somewhere is it a Russian version of Wind of Change somewhere.
I'm sure there is. Yes, there is. Some
Send Me an Angel.
I quite like Send Me an Angel.
Yeah. Number 29 hit here in the UK, pop fans. Not off. Yeah. So
I've never heard Winds of Change again. I will be very happy about that.
Oh, that's upsetting because you know what? Like all these bands of this particular ilk, they've recorded it more than once. They've recorded it unplugged, plugged, sat outside in the rain. You name it, they've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how many people still really love that song? And that's great if they do. I'm just, people are amazed. Like, how can you not like Winds of Change? I'm like, I didn't like it when they released it. I don't like it even less now. Ugh. But
My younger child, who hates everything I like, really likes Wind of Change.
Yeah, my other half loves Wind of Change as well, but there you go.
I can tolerate it, but it's one of those that you think, nah. And when you see them, sometimes they play it, sometimes they don't they? And it's always a good day.
Yeah, I would rather they didn't, but I don't quite hate it as vehemently as a lot of people do. Put it that way. For a lot of people, it just absolutely finished the band for them. I didn't buy anything after that whistling shit. As a comment made on Twitter that made me giggle. I have to say, I didn't agree, but it made me laugh.
It's like, no more. No.
He's not like this when he's with Martin, is he?
No,
All
very thin.
No.
Yes.
I don't drink beer when I'm with Martin. It's too early.
Too fucking late right now, let me tell you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, we're recording this so late that I'll be up to the night for a piss. Doing this at this time of day. Sign of age, that is, but there you go. That's the olds in a different way. So I had a really long preamble about this album. So Simon's spoken about that album. So I am just going to play it right down the middle. I'm going to play it right down the middle because the shoe-in is this. Okay. For a variety.
Oh, no.
For a variety of reasons. First, because it's shit. Okay. And secondly, because I hate it. Hate it, right? See, here's the chaps that are in this band. Okay. Look at this. They're happy-go-lucky. They're cheerful. I'm sure they're whistling. They're probably whistling as they walk here, right?
Mrs. Simon's got a Backstreet Boys album where the cover looks like that.
Right, that's what's happening as they're doing this. But no, not on this side, because these guys are the Scorpions. There's no the. Yeah. Right. These guys are Scorpions. I mean, they're not Scorpion. Anyway, right. So these are the guys in the band. These schmucks, right? These schmucks, they're not allowed to be on the cover. No. Because they've only been in the band for a minute or two. Okay. So we can't have them sully things by doing, but it goes further than that. And I really don't like this. Really don't like it when a band does this kind of thing. Okay, where is it at the front or at the back? It's at the back. Okay. They list the people in the band. Okay, can we see this here? They list the people in the band and they leave a gap. There's the three guys that matter, and then there's the other two people who just happen to play on these songs and go on tour with us. Really don't like it when a band do that. And this to me is a sign of a band who are lost. This is 1999, it's their 14th album. This is a band who are absolutely lost. I mean, there are other clunkers in this catalogue, right? And Come Black I will actually mention later on for a purpose. But I felt there's enough garbage in here. And I really love Scorpions, okay? There's enough garbage in here that I don't need to talk about Tainted Love too much. Well, it's bad, okay? It's really bad. But they're absolutely lost here. I have never understood why a heritage band with a ginormous fan base would be sitting with, I would imagine, some sort of advisor going, what should we sound like? We should sound like fucking Scorpions. We don't need grunge and loops and beats and rapping on a Scorpions album. We just absolutely don't. And Peter Wolf, or Wolf, whatever, produced this album. He co-writes songs on it. What is going on? It's faux grunge. It's absolute garbage. It's desperation. It's awful in every shape or form. The presentation of it, the message about what the band is like at this stage, but more importantly, all of the music. There's a couple of decent riffs. All of the music on this is just awful. It's absolutely terrible. And if it wasn't for the fact that I'm recording in a different room tonight and have left my glasses somewhere else and I can't get them right now, I was going to read the lyrics on some of these songs, because Scorpions have always had lyrics that make you go, do you know? I don't necessarily think that Feeding Her Inches and think they didn't always have an awful lot of respect for women. shall we say. But when you're this age doing that kind of shit, it's not on. It's just really not on. And it's the song. Can I actually read it? I probably can. I don't think I can. It is Freshly Squeezed. Take some time to read the lyrics of Freshly Squeezed. It's absolutely turgid stuff. It's toe curling. It's cringy. It's wrong. It's wrong. I mean, this is a band that brought down the Berlin Wall all on their own. Nobody else helped. Okay, and so wrong. Really. So yeah, but I obviously still bought it. Okay,
Of course.
You are going to get in trouble from fans of the Hoff for saying that.
Yes, that is true. Actually, you're absolutely right.
No.
Absolutely, because he brought down the Berlin Wall all on his own because he had the theme tune. It had a theme tune. How bizarre! How absolutely bizarre! But there you go. I mean, the title track on this sounds like something that Natalie Imbruglia would have gone. I think that's quite bland. It's anyway. Enough about that. Okay. So it would have been way too easy to stick in this era. So I did. Okay. Absolutely did. Because this is, I've got to be honest and say that Pure Instinct completely passed me by. I liked Crazy World. I listened to that album a lot. They were huge. I saw them on that tour. And I had bought this before I actually knew this existed. This is how far the Scorpions seemed to fall off everybody's radar almost overnight. I genuinely saw a picture of this album cover on the internet about 6 or 7 years ago and thought, what's that then? I have no idea what that is. I don't have that. I've got all their albums. No, I didn't. I wish I had, because this is just nonsense. It's just so bad. I mean, there are, I think, 8 of the tracks, and there's 11, okay, are either kind of mid-paced burners that are, a bit emotional and Klaus is, telling you his story, or they're ballads. 8 out of 11. Yeah. And the rock songs on it are not good. And they only put 3 on. They couldn't even write 3 good rock songs at this stage. This is wrong and misguided. This is just bad. And it's still misguided because, and we've covered this with a few bands. We started off, I suppose, talking about the status quo, and we'll come back to it on a few occasions. There is a little journey here that I'll maybe touch on later on, where you do wonder how many people are kind of going, well, you've got to keep up with everything else that's happening, or they're going, people only like you for when to change. Lots of pressure on bands that really comes through at certain points, and you tend to find 100 times out of 100 that it ends up with albums like this that are absolute shit, unfortunately. So yeah, they're obvious and they're easy targets, and I'm going to take them because they're really bad. Pure Instinct, Eye to Eye. Listen to them again prior to this to make sure that I had my mind set on them. I would guess I will never listen to either of these albums ever again.
And ironically enough, there are going to be people in the comments who think that those 2 albums are fabulous.
And they're not wrong.
Right, yeah, exactly.
They are in my world, and that's all.
Exactly. Well, God, where do you start with the least favorites here? Because there are a lot of candidates. And some of these I owned, some of them I never did. So I had to go and re-listen to all this stuff. Ugh. It wasn't bad enough the first time, right? So, it goes without saying. For me, Eye to Eye is god awful. And I never owned it. I'm glad I didn't own it. Like I said, re-listening to it was hard enough. I mean, dance and industrial beats on a Scorpions album. Klaus doing this whole breathy, ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah. What? It's like, give me a break. Synthesizers all over a Scorpions album. I have no problem with keyboards and synthesizers. Not on a Scorpions album. Clean guitar tones. I mean, Obsessions, laughably bad. To Be Number One, terrible. Mysterious, it's mysteriously bad. The title track. I mean, all these songs are just awful. They don't even sound like Scorpion songs. It's Klaus singing. I don't know who. You can't even tell who's playing because it just doesn't sound like the Scorpions at all. For me, the only halfway decent song on this whole album is Mine Like a Tree. And it's the only one that has a pulse and there's even some like metal riffing on it, even though the whole song is not really like that. This is just a really bad album, huge mistake. And if I were them, I would hopefully they've disowned this album because, and I honestly, if there is anybody in the comments who tells me that they love this album, I really question whether you're actually a Scorpions fan, because I can't see any longtime Scorpions fan really liking this album. I'd have a hard time. Again, we all hear things differently. I get that, but man, this album is just bad. It's really bad.
I really do wonder, Peter, if they got to the end of this and the three guys who were clearly driving the bus here, because with all due respect to Ralph and James, they were obviously not. I like the fact that they actually look suitably embarrassed. They genuinely, I think they were put on the inside because they're kind of going, about the whole thing. But do you think that a band that had a history and a profile like Scorpions completed this, listened back to it and went, that's the shit right there? Or they went, oh, that's shit right there.
Yeah.
I mean, surely these guys who have written all of these great songs, performed all these great songs, played huge shows, been relevant for other reasons, listened to this and went, oh, what is this? Who is this?
Well, Steven, look at the cover. Rudolph has got his hands like this, like he's waiting for the tomatoes to come flying. He knows it's garbage. He's like, all right, yeah, I know this sucks, but just be kind. That's what that looks like. Matthias is like, yeah, this sucks. And Klaus is like, yeah, no, this take the Scorpions.
Yeah, well, I've always construed this as being eye to eye, but none of them can look at each other.
They can't even look at each other, yeah. And they don't want to look at us either. They don't want to face us. They're like, we know this shouldn't have come out. Yeah, this blows, but yeah, so that sucks. As far as like another one, I mean, there's so many to choose from this era. I almost wanted to pick Face the Heat because it starts off great with Alien Nation, which is the best song they did during this whole entire era, decade. The rest of it's forgettable, generic, horrible lyrics, musical cliches everywhere. But that's not the one I'm going to pick on because that's bad. But I don't like Humanity Hour 1. I know there are people that really like that album. Starts off pretty good with Hour 1. That's I'm like, wow, Scorpions got their mojo back. Yeah, that starts off pretty good. Good heavy rocker. But man, fucking ballad central, man. We were born to fly. The future never dies. Love will keep us alive. Oh God, yes it will. Love is war. I mean, oh my God, one after another after another. It's like 3/4 of this album is all ballads. It's like Jesus. Then you got when they do rock, it's just like been there, done there, and half the riffs are like generic wannabe nu metal riffs. You got 321. That's pretty good. You're loving me to death. Oh God, Humanity, the cross is kind of heavy, but again, it all sounds like shit I've heard before. And nothing on here is really like, wow, that's a lot of fun. I don't know. To me, it's fairly forgettable. Way too many mellow ballads, and ultimately, it's just another in a long line of kind of crappy albums from this band. So yeah, those are my two least favorites. Kind of got three there. Sorry. I really just wanted to say how much I love Alien Nation, but the rest of that album is terrible. So let's face the heat. Do you guys remember when that album came out? I bought, because I didn't like Crazy World, and then I bought Face the Heat, and I was like, all right, because you're just in that mode. You're like, all right, it's a new Scorpions album. I love their old stuff. I'm going to keep buying their stuff. And I bought it, and Alien Nation comes on. I'm like, yes, this is like the best shit since Blackout. And the rest of the album, you're like, hey, yeah, this isn't very good. And I wound up just listening to Alien Nation over and over again, skipping the whole rest of the album. And then eventually I was like, this album. So I forget, even Alien Nation can't save it at all. So yeah.
I appear not to have brought it through. I was going to show it on the screen. I appear not to have brought it. I've got everything else. But anyway.
People aren't missing much. All right, Simon, what about a wild card?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of oh no, okay, maybe not. see what I did there. Yeah, I mean, whoever thought sticking them together with Desmond Child would be a good idea. Yeah, well, I have also found in the pile of stuff I was able to get the "Send Me an Angel" single, which does have the Russian/English version of "Wind of Change." Yeah.
Mm.
And a live version of Wind of Change, just in case there's not enough change of wind activity going on. But I'm here to stand up, my young friends, for what I like to call recent Scorpions fun. And by recent, what I of course mean is about 20 years ago. And I'm here to stand up for Unbreakable. Look at that shiny motherfucker. Look at that.
Yeah, look at that.
That is look at me. Oh yay! This nearly became one of my two favorites because I've always loved this album. I've always loved it's. You remember Stephen, you were saying about Toto and your journey, and you saw them on the tour. I saw them on when they were touring this album, and I listened to it incessantly. Then they didn't play much of it.
Of course not.
Of course not. Yeah,
they really didn't.
Simon, you and like 10 other people bought it, so you know.
Well, I feel like me and the other 9 got a good deal.
Yeah, of course you did. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a really good record, really confident, mature hard rocking record. Love 'em or leave 'em, excellent. Deep and dark, deep down in my... It's what we like to call a tune, but My City, My Town, if I've played that once today, I've played it 37 times. Or 4 or 5, one of the two. This time she said, remember the good times? It's like somebody's listened to Billy Joel and just put a string of historical shit together. Yeah, what more fun. But I also then remembered, apart from that, I genuinely really like this record CD. That this is one of those CDs that they wouldn't let you put in your computer. Yeah, I'm not playing that shit. No, you're not putting that on iTunes. Fuck off. Right. No, those. Yeah. No. Yeah, that was really annoying, wasn't it?
You could only play them in the car.
Or on your CD player, but no, you couldn't rip them just in case you wanted to give a copy of the new Scorpions album to all your mates. It was the first Scorpions record for about 15 years that I thought, oh yeah, I like this from beginning to end. As opposed to none of it.
Yeah.
And it's one of the ones that I go to on a regular basis. So yay for Unbreakable. That's what I'm saying. Also, although I can't find it somewhere, I do have a vinyl copy of Rock Believer, and Rock Believer from, is it this year?
Yeah.
Is the dog's bollocks. It really is. It's an excellent record. Really is. It's going to feature very highly in my top whatever we do this year, 10, 40, 100,
it's
whatever.
Coming up pretty quickly. Jesus,
isn't it?
Man.
I know, isn't it nearly Christmas?
And it continues the band's ability to have really bad album covers.
Yeah.
At least she's got clothes on, so.
Well, we presume.
Yeah. So yeah,
I think she's hanging out with Mick Jagger from like the Goat's Head Soup album cover, because that's kind of what it looks like.
Yeah.
I'm gonna nod sagely like I give a shit about the Rolling Stones. Obviously, I don't.
All right then.
Yeah. So yeah, I know it is. If you newcomer, if you have been ignoring the new Scorpions album, it's really, really good. It's been the album been threatening to make for about 30 years.
The song Peacemaker, which was one of the singles off this, is one of the best things they've done in about 30 years.
Very much so.
Such a good song. It is like you, Simon. I press play on an album and I let the album do its thing.
Yeah.
I must admit that when Peacemaker comes on, I go, I might need to hear that again right now. That's how good it is. Yeah, absolutely.
And also, I'm a rock believer. Yeah, having a Dalek sing is a real winner. Yeah. Yeah, you know it makes sense. So, yeah, I'm done.
Okay, so I said I was going to cheat, and I'm going to cheat. Okay, because there's two that I just can't split here. Okay, I'm glad that you two are sitting down, and I know that I will get some support from at least one person that commented on Twitter this week. Okay, because I love this album. Okay, and I will make no bones about the fact that I love this album. I really do. It's got an utterly nonsense kind of semi-concept about the way that we treat machines and all that kind of stuff. And Klaus does at some point seem to be singing about deers that are leaping into the sun or something along those lines. But I really like this. See, there's a strange journey here, right? Where they recorded this. I'm sorry to keep showing it, okay? And it's garbage, right? And it's a band trying to reinvent themselves, okay? Then I think they recorded this, and it goes, "Oh, with the Scorpions," right?
Remember us?
Yeah. Then they do this, and yet again we are trying to reinvent ourselves and be relevant. But I think they actually quite like this one. I think they hate this one. You can hear it in the performances; they're all going, "Ooh," but on this one they're kind of going, "Ooh." But then the critics hated it, so they went right back to being Scorpions again and writing lots of ballads and all that kind of stuff. I really like this. 3, 2, 1, are you ready to rock? Yes, Klaus, I am, thank you. But it was good of you to ask. It's really, really good. I like Humanity Hour 1. I like the game of life. I just like the whole thing. I think it's big and it's heavy and it sounds a bit like Blackie and Metallica in places. And it's clearly not very Scorpions-like. I think it's one of the best examples of a band going, do you know, actually, we've done what we're doing for a very long time. Will we try something a little different? And yeah, okay, Big Desmond's on board, so we're about to get a hit. Okay. And I actually think that this is one of the best examples. I've just said that when bands do this, it's destined to fail. Well, it failed. So I'm still standing by that statement. It failed. I really like this, but it's not my wild card. Okay. I knew that it would get a lot of hate. Okay. And I really like it. So I'm going to stick up for it a little bit. Now, there are, and I've discussed this before, there are 4 pillars of mediocrity for a heritage band. Okay. And the Scorpions, Scorpions are clever. Okay. There's no the. Okay. Because, yes, they've got their acoustic album. Okay. Live album, double album, or CD, DVD, whatever. It's quite nice. It's not as good as it should be for this band and the sort of songs they've got, but it's quite nice. Okay. But then they managed to do 2 together. They re-recorded their own stuff and did the covers album all in one. Okay. I mean, absolutely. They thought, you know, our fans will buy this shit anyway, but let's not make them buy 2 of them. Thank you. Okay. That's the only thing that I can say that's good about this. Okay. But there's also the symphonic album. Okay. Moment of Glory. This is brilliant. I love this album. I actually think that it's the best rock symphonic. Yeah, I mean, okay, we'll go back to Deep Purple and things, and they kind of set the standard and all that kind of stuff. I'm taking that out of there. For when bands reinvented this as an idea and pretended that nobody had ever done it before, I think this is the best example that you're going to find, because they genuinely let the orchestra actually become part of the songs. Whether it is something massive and bombastic like Hurricane 2000, which is not Rock Like a Hurricane, it is, okay, or whether it is the ballads, the orchestra is actually integral to what's going on. Klaus is amazing on this, but the band play really well too. It's got absolutely everything. It's got a couple of bespoke orchestral pieces that kind of help things move along. There's a cover of Here in My Heart written for Tiffany. But apart from that, I really do like this album. I really do like this album. I just think that it's big and it's bombastic and it plays to all of Scorpion's strengths, because it does allow them to be emotional and heartfelt, but big and dumb and riffy. It's great. I love it. And I would probably say that in the last 20 years or so, this is maybe actually the Scorpions album that I've played more than any other. Partly because the whole family goes, I really like that one. Okay. But partly because I really like this one. It's really, really good. And I even like the fact that they're having a little bit of a laugh at themselves on the cover. Do you know, this is dinosaurs all dressed up, ready to go out and see the orchestra perform. There you go. So yes, that's my real wild card. I really like Moment of Glory. I think it's excellent.
I'd like to apologise to the people of East Lancashire, because I was driving down the M65 today, singing along to the title track.
Yeah.
Also driving with no hands. Go, moments of glory. Yeah, like, yeah. Oh, I'm driving. Sorry. Shit. Yeah. That is a banging album, Stephen. That is just for once you've redeemed yourself. That is an excellent choice. Well done.
The classical intro, the orchestral intro to the whole album, to Hurricane 2000. That's how you do it. That's how these albums should be done. That build and build and build and build and build and build. And then you let the guitars take over for a second or two, and we all go, oh, we're all going to talk and work together here. I love it. It's great.
I'm going to cheat today as well. And it's, I wasn't going to, but I figure I had two that were kind of in the running for this wild card thing. And ironically, one is the first album they released, and the other is the most recent album they released. So Lonesome Crow and Rock Believer, I was trying to decide between the two because I really enjoy both of them. Neither one of them to me is classic prime Scorpions, but they're really good. You know, this really sounds like nothing else they've ever done. This of course was the early 70s and 1972 as a matter of fact, and this has got Michael Schenker on lead guitar, who was like 15 or 16 years old at the time. And this is more like a kind of like a German blues rock, krautrock, rock, psychedelic space rock type of an album. It's got a lot of jamming on it, loads of great lead guitar from a very young Michael Schenker. It's kind of riffy, but it's not like the Uli era, and it's certainly not like the Matthias era. And I think there's a certain charm to this that I've always really liked quite a bit. So that's the one. And then Rock Believer is their most recent one. And, you know, here they're looking cool again on the back of the albums. They're all wearing leather. They're holding their guitars, right? Like, we're the Scorpions again. We still know how to do this shit. And I will say, other than some of the cringy lyrics, but then again, these guys have had cringy lyrics their whole career, right?
Every album has cringy lyrics.
Man, cliche ridden. You know, you look that up in the dictionary and there's the picture of the Scorpions. But the songs are fun. This is a good hard rocking album. Is it a 5-star classic? No, it's not. But to me, this is the best Scorpions album for me, probably since Love at First Sting. That's a long ass time ago. And I get a lot of enjoyment out of this. You know, Gas in the Tank is great. Roots in My Boots, lyrics are absolutely ridiculous, but it's fun. It rocks. Peacemaker is terrific. The Shining of Your Soul, Rock Believer is a great song. You know, there's a couple songs on here that aren't great, but it's to me the best sounding Scorpions album in a long, long time. You know,
I listen to that record and I pull my sleeves up like I'm Phil Collins.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, all right, we can finally get down and get excited about the Scorpions album again. And I haven't been able to do that in a long, long time. You know, Sting and the Tails got a lot of these other more recent albums have some good moments for me. But I don't think any of them really kind of captures the balls and the swagger and the what's the word, the confidence of a young Scorpions like this album. So whatever they did to recapture this, I don't know, but all of a sudden it seems like the magic is kind of back in the Scorpions. But one of the things that I said on Guitar Hack the other night is like, is this really like what the Scorpions want to do? Or is this kind of like, you know, what Metallica has done in recent years, where they basically said, we don't want to do heavy metal anymore. And, you know, our thrash days are behind us. And then their last two albums are like, okay, well, you know what? Obviously our album sales are slipping. So let's do some kind of stuff that will make the old fans happy. Is it what they really want to do? I don't know. Is this really what the Scorpions want to do? Or did they just never forget how to do this? And they were like, oh yeah, we could do that again. I don't know, but job well done. Because I think this is quite good, actually.
I think, okay, which means it's completely wrong, but I think that, I mean, the Scorpions have made status quo's farewell tour look short.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Okay, this band has been officially leaving us now for about 10 years.
Yeah.
And not having retracted that announcement. Everybody else that's kind of gone, we're leaving, have had the decency to go, and we're back again. The Scorpions went, we're leaving, and just continued to record albums and tour. As if that's what all bands who've retired do. I think the difference is they didn't have to make Rock Believer. The other albums, whether it's the ones that I like, okay, or whether it's the ones that I also like that I haven't spoken so much about, I like these albums too, because these are Scorpions albums. They sound like Scorpions. As you say, Peter, are they classics? No. For me, there's enough songs on all of these. I'll put these on and go, oh, that's better than I remember. I quite like this. By the time we get to Rock Believer, they didn't need to do anything, because they're still touring, they're still making lots of money, I would imagine. They're still comfortable. They're doing it because it's fun. Rock Believer sounds like they're doing it because it's fun.
Yeah. It's
almost like they sat down and went, do you know what? We've actually got some good songs here. Will we record an album? And then will we put out a version that's got a bonus disc, because we've got lots of good songs. there's not just enough to put the 11 on here. There's another 5 that you still think, okay, I can see why they're not on the main album, but I'm really pleased to have these because these are all quite good too. So I think that what we've done is we've ditched all kind of record label pressure and ideas and just gone, do you know what? Let's record the songs that we've written because we quite like these. And that resulted, funnily enough, in quite a good album.
Yeah.
Strange idea, that, eh?
And it's got the classic logo, and if you look hard enough, there's the scorpion on her tongue. So that's very important.
Yeah, that's my only problem with this one. It's that bit. That's a reinvention too far for me. Don't do that. Thank you.
One of the things that I think it might have been Martin that said it the other night. He said that if you take like all of the best songs from those 90s albums and the 2000s albums prior to this one, and you put them on like a nice like 70-minute CD, you have a pretty banger of an album from the Scorpions right there.
I think you'd have a cracking album. Personally. See, I like this era much more than some people do. There are albums in there, quite a few albums in there, really from Savage Amusement onwards. I'm on board, I'm off board, I'm on board, I'm off board. There's some good songs, there's some really not very good songs. I still think that the good outweighs the bad, personally. I don't really have a massive problem with Crazy World. I really like Unbreakable. I'm on board all the way through, with a few exceptions where I just kind of go, what are we doing right now? But I like this band. And I'll also go on record and say I really like the early 70s stuff. Really like the first 4 albums. I haven't spoken about them at all.
Yeah.
But genuinely my favourite 2 albums are Worldwide Live and Tokyo Tapes. If somebody said to me, you can never listen to any more Scorpions ever again, I would probably go, yeah, okay. Because I don't really need much more than that, even though so much of what I like falls outside of them. But I like it from start to finish, I really do, with some notable exceptions.
Yeah. All right, so there you have it, everybody. Our favorite and least favorite Scorpions albums, plus some wild cards. So you know how it goes down in the comments. List your 2 favorites, your 2 least favorites, and your wild card pick. We'll see what everybody comes up with. It's a pretty big discography, so I'm sure we'll see lots of variety. And Simon, you want to give everybody a little taste of what is coming next week?
Well, I feel like next week, now that we've done The Crew, I feel like, wow, let's stay in America. We're going to do Boston. We're going to do the first Boston album.
That's right. Ranking the songs on classic albums. We'll be back next week. The self-titled debut from Boston, an album that most people seem to love, but how do you rank the songs? They're all kind of classics, right? Well, that will be our challenge next week. So stay tuned for that. It should be a lot of fun. Will we go with the big radio hits? Will we go with the deep cuts as our favorites? Who knows?
I think the crazy thing is that the whole album has become almost a radio hit.
Yeah, pretty much.
I know there's a couple of songs in there that you hear over and over and over, but I think most people, whether they realise it or not, know there's only 8, I think, all 8 songs on that album. Because it's had so much play, such a strong album. I've listened to it a couple of times in preparation already and have no idea what my ranking is going to be. No idea. None. 0.
I know my number 1 is right off the bat. The other ones, we'll see. I have a week to get ready for it. So. And, we do want to thank everybody for all of your comments on the Motley Crue Shout at the Devil show we did last week, which we had a lot of fun with. What I will say is I don't need to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Just keep in mind that if it's a band or a catalog or an album that some of us here on this show or anywhere on Sea of Tranquility, don't like maybe as much as you do, Mr. or Mrs. Viewer, don't take it personally, right? We all like and dislike what we like, and we're just here to have fun and talk about music. And we're not gonna love everything because it's impossible. But like last week, I'm not a Motley Crue fan, but I had no problems doing that episode, and I like some of the songs on that album. And that's what we don't like some of them, we like some of them. So it's just have fun with it. That's what we do here. We have a blast doing this show. So please don't take it personally if we don't love your favorite band as much as you do, or your favorite album. And in some cases, we may love these albums or bands more than you do. So it goes both ways. So we won't get upset if you don't like them, or if you do like them, because that's the way the world bounces. So just wanted to throw that out there. So thanks for watching, everybody. Again, Scorpions, favorite, least favorite albums, down in the comments below. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube, all together, all the damn time. In Poughkeepsie, New York. Right, Simon? Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. October 1st at the Chance, Poughkeepsie, New York. Hope to see some of you, well, obviously non-UK fans, at the Chance. We got a full day of music and discussion. So see you then, and we'll tune in next week for ranking the songs on classic albums, Boston's self-titled debut. See you then 1 week from today. For Simon Bray and Steven Reid, I am Pete Pardo. Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. Good night. See you real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.